I plan on being very honest because, through that honesty, you'll see a lot of the blessings that I've been able to enjoy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the things I want to kind of put in the beginning in your guys' heads right now is this idea of water. I do a lot of studying, as we all are supposed to, but I've also studied the Japanese samurai. Does anybody know what samurai means in Japanese? Japanese samurai means one who serves. So in this Japanese samurai tradition, there's a big emphasis on water, as well as throughout the Quran, water is mentioned multiple times. And though water is something we can hold, something we can drink, something we can use or evaporate, if used on a rock, it can split that rock. And truly, Allah has blessed me so many times with droplets that it has split me into just a continual happy believer. And I continue to receive blessings and more knowledge as I go. So we're talking about the transformation into Islam. And I was fortunate, my parents, neither of my parents are Muslim, which I think helps sometimes, because I was able to learn things for myself. A lot of the things that we hold on to for the rest of our lives are things that we found ourselves because we know them to be true and we feel them in every aspect of our life. So my parents were both Buddhist and Baptist. They kind of gone back and forth, but we were going to a Unitarian church at the time. And when I was 13, 14, our job as teenagers was what is your declaration of faith? What is your faith statement? And I don't know about you guys, when I was 13, 14, I was, picking up the cordless phone and calling my friends, hanging out. Some of these guys probably know what a cordless phone is, huh? Young cats. So there's this whole idea of finding your faith. So it's like, okay, well, what do I believe in? And I was going to this, coming from public school, I knew I was going to this Catholic high school. So I thought, hey, what about Catholicism? I check out Catholicism, Christianity, and, Jesus is a great prophet to us, but the whole Trinity thing to me, I was like, okay, yeah, I know I believe in God, but Jesus is God. I don't know, I don't know what that is. When my grandfather's a deacon in the Baptist church, so you can imagine he was laying down some biblical verses and the history of being Baptist and everything, and still didn't really sink in with me. And it wasn't until I was in my 8th grade social studies class, sleeping, unfortunately, in the social studies class. But literally, there was a video. It was like a world religions video, 1 hour, probably made by 60 Minutes or something. And they say, this is Islam. They believe in one God. Jesus is a prophet. Muhammad is the last seal of the prophets. And they also believe in Moses and Abraham. And it was like just a shock to my system. I was like, oh, that's exactly kind of how I've been feeling. Like, I know Jesus lived because clearly there's an imprint. So I looked into Islam, and it literally felt like God just unzipped my heart and just gave me faith. And I'll never forget that. So I called up my friends, literally on three-way, back in the day when you couldn't do it on your cell phones, young people. But so we get on three-way, and neither of these two are Muslim, but I just knew I was Muslim. I knew then. So I said, Shahadu la ilaha illallah, shahadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I just took Shahada, They're like, okay, cool. So after that, it was just kind of on me to find out what happened. So being a young guy, not really knowing any direction, I go to this Catholic high school and surrounded by people with faith, and it had an impression on me because, as the Quran teaches us, we have brothers and sisters who are believers in the book. And true believers in the book, they respect your faith, and their faith is in every day of their life. So it was an inspiration to me being around fellow Catholic brothers and sisters because it was in everything they did. It was in everything they did. But at the time, I was just trying to be me, young African-American kid in a predominantly white school. I had a lot of anger. So what I did, I got the silver chain that said Allah in Arabic, rocked that thing hard. Then I went to this interracial conference, and I saw on the list, one of the teachers was Nawar Abdul Wahid. I said, well, that sounds like a Muslim. I'm going to go check it out. Allah, please help me out because I don't know what I'm doing. I literally had a Teach Yourself Islam book from Barnes & Noble, which couldn't be more wrong. I don't even know how that's legally printed. Could be some propaganda. So I go to this conference, and he kind of sees me in the back, because I got the bling on, and he says, hey, man, do you know what that means? I said, yeah, but I don't know what I'm doing, man. Help me out. So, alhamdulillah, that was one of the second droplets, I guess, of water on me. And to this day, that man is still my teacher, Nawal Abdul Wahid. He's given me deen and shown me the path and continued to guide me even when I've asked him questions. So, much thanks to him. So then the first experience I had at the mosque, so now I knew I was Muslim. I kind of knew how to pray because I didn't want to go to the mosque and just be standing there, not doing what I should be doing. And it blew my mind, man. It was I don't know if anybody's been to Minnesota, but you've been, so you actually know. We actually have a lot of diversity, a lot of Somali brothers, a lot of brothers from the Middle East. But when I went to the mosque, there was this little one-room mosque in the top of this dilapidated building in St. Paul. And this older Muslim was just teaching this white guy how to read Arabic and just teaching him. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I'm like, so you guys friends? He's like, I just met this dude today. I'm like, okay, well, that's pretty cool. And then when we got to prayer, I still remember my first prayer because it was amazing to me. I've never met any of these brothers, didn't know any of them by name, and they came shoulder to shoulder, foot to foot with me. And if you ever pray next to me, I will be touching your feet. So, because that was unbelievable to me. Even in the Catholic tradition, when I watch my friends pray, everybody's in their space. Hey, give me some space, But here it's like, no, man, we need to be touching. We are one. That was a profound, profound impact on me. And for me, Islam has really saved me from a lot of different things, really guided me, despite me not listening at times. And everybody, people want to talk about the NFL, but I would not be an NFL football player, not only if it wasn't for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but if it wasn't for the deen. Because through the deen, I've learned discipline and sacrifice. So it made it easy to have discipline and sacrifice for a sport. So through high school now, I'm Muslim. I'm telling everybody, yeah, I'm Muslim, doing my thing. And all of a sudden I got to go to college. Now, I don't know, have anybody of you been on a recruiting trip to a D1 school? Anybody? Raise your hand. Wow. So I needed my dean then, you know what I'm saying? I'm a kid in Minnesota. So I'm thinking about going to Miami and Notre Dame, and Miami knew what they were doing, okay? These people make literally millions of dollars off these athletes. You get a 17-year-old kid from Minnesota to come to Miami in late November. They take me to the beach. I don't know if you've ever been to the beach in Miami. You will need your dean if you go to the beach in Miami. Let me tell you that right now. This is a struggle. So I go to Miami, and hey, they won over a 17-year-old kid, that's for sure. I was happy. I liked the beach. I wanted to be there. But then I went to Notre Dame. And at Notre Dame, it's not South Beach, but there was this wonderful tradition there. And they were playing Michigan at the time. If any of you are thinking about going to the University of Michigan, don't. It's a bad school. Go to Notre Dame. But it was a huge game for Notre Dame. And I'm seeing all this tradition of faith. I mean, and there are brothers in the book. They have a you can't even imagine how big this building is with Jesus on it, with his arms open wide. And to me, just that symbol of acceptance was unbelievable. And that's one of the things that people go to the University of Notre Dame to see all the time. So not only that, when I get on the field after the big win, somebody grabs me from behind. They say, hey, you go anywhere else, you're going to be a number. You come here, you're a part of a family. I said, wow, man, that's incredible. No one did that at Miami. No one did that at Michigan. So I came home. I still like Miami, It's cold over there in South Bend, Miami's got the beach, and it's cool. So I told my parents that I want to go to Miami. They're like, no. Nope. I've never seen my mother more upset with me in my life to this day. She said, you're not going. And then this peace came over me. And I just came over me. You're not going. You're not going. And so I ended up going to Notre Dame. And a lot of people ask me to say, what was it like being Muslim at Notre Dame? Those brothers and sisters at Notre Dame, they helped me be a better Muslim. Anybody want to guess how many masses they have? Yeah. Anybody want to guess how many masses per week there are at Notre Dame? 7? Anybody else? 330 masses per week at the University of Notre Dame on campus. So you talk about people with deen, you know what I'm saying? Though they're not, Muslims, that's a lasting example every week in my community. So I was able to grow because when I would say, they'd say, hey man, what's this Ramadan thing? But hey, it's kind of like Lent in a way. Okay, cool. So they leave me alone. They know I'm doing my prayers. If I said, they say, hey man, we're going to this movie. Like, nah man, I gotta get my prayer in. They understood. So from that understanding, not only did I grow as a Muslim, but I always will, and I always encourage all of you to respect people of the book, those who are true in their faith, because they will respect you as well, and they will make you better about your deen. In college, I also needed my deen. I don't know how many of you have been to college, but you will need your deen at college. And especially, alhamdulillah, I was able to play and do good things, and they know where you live in college. It's one thing in the pros when you go and then you go back to your house, in a community, but when you play at Notre Dame, they know you live at Siegfried Hall, So people are coming by, good times are being had, and I really needed my deen to continue. So finally, alhamdulillah, I get to my end of my junior year. All these projections coming out, hey, you're going to be a number 1 pick, you're going to be a first-round pick, all this stuff. And I had my first of what would be 3 back surgeries and 4 surgeries total in 5 years. So here I am now, I have a back surgery. I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. I need my deen again. So I continue to pray. Got drafted in the 3rd round, alhamdulillah. First week of practice in the pros. Back went out again. I needed a 2nd back surgery. Kept on my deen. Came back. And I think I had probably the worst preseason game in the history of the NFL when I finally came back. In one half, I had 3 penalties, 2 of them back-to-back, 2 of which were holding, which is like the worst penalty an offensive lineman can have. And then again, I knew I had my faith. I knew I had the deen. I just kept praying. Allah, please. I have nothing. I fear nothing but you. Please guide me through this. Please give me opportunity again. And alhamdulillah, that year I went on to do good things. Then again, I'm going through, and I keep telling you this because it's so important to me that I've been able to keep my deen, but there were times when I went away, and I don't know if any of you have had that as well, but there will be times, if you're young, that you will struggle. But every time I struggled, something happened that made me come back to the deen. And I would not be standing here today without that. One of those things I've been kind of living it up a little bit, doing my thing. And I was going to the mosque, I was hitting Juma, but I was still, I was doing my thing. And literally, I feel something grab me on my couch. Say, if you do not stop, you will go to hell. We all know who that was talking to me. You all know who that was that grabbed me. So alhamdulillah, I stopped kind of with living the life. And alhamdulillah, the next week, I met the woman who on July 7th will be my wife. Met her at a charity event because I wasn't doing nothing. I said I might as well go to a charity event. Another way that I got kind of that water. And then this recently for me, I finished my 4 years at the Denver Broncos, and I was set to make whatever amounts of money, okay? And at that time, it was important to me. I'm not going to lie to y'all, man. Making millions of dollars was important to me. It really was. And for an unknown reason, literally unknown, okay, I'm traveling, I'm doing my thing, having a good time. My back gives out again. I have to have my 3rd back surgery. People say to me sometimes, how do you know there's a God? I said, do you think a man with 3 back surgeries would be playing in the NFL if God didn't exist? So here I am. I'm waiting for the money. I can't wait for the money, and it doesn't happen. I have to sign for a minimum contract, okay, have another back surgery. And now I'm rehabbing, and you go home, everybody's like, so what's going on with you? What's the deal? I came back from that surgery. The day I got out of the surgery table, I came home. I said, God, I will not lose faith. I will not lose faith. And right there, hours after my back surgery, I made salah because it would not break me. It would not break me. Coming back through that whole experience, I'm alone. I'm working out. I don't know if you ever had anybody rehab an injury, torn ACL. It's a lonely time over there. You're just doing little exercises so you can gain an inch in a week or a rep in a month. That's how slow you're moving. I pray to God. I say, God, I continue my faith, and I pray that one day you will help me and I will be back. And just when it was as bleak as possible, I go to the masjid. I'm still going to Juma. And all of us have that time where it says, hey, give up. It's not working. Go to something else. I kept praying, and alhamdulillah, the Broncos signed me back for 2 years. And that's where I am today. So through my faith, it's just been a blessing, to start from a kid who had a silver chain to being here speaking in front of you guys today. And especially for the youth, I just encourage you to stay on the deen no matter where you are. And make sure that you talk to somebody older, somebody like myself or somebody in your community, because we all in here know the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'm so blessed and happy, and I'm so happy that I was able to share this story with you today. So thank you very much.